Hi you all, it is so nice to be able to share with you guys. Um, I am recording this video because our Zoom session first part was lost, and that was really all of the instructions for this exercise and process. So I wanted to just come back and start again and share this with you guys. So this is a page out of my art journal. And like I shared in the group call, when I did the collage exercise of the face in my training as a creatively fit coach, I was not really loving it. I think my perception of collage in art has always been limited to the idea that you need magazines and you cut out from that, and then if you are skilled at it, forgive me as I sit down, then maybe you can create something beautiful and meaningful. So I really sort of dismissed it from that perspective, but I must honestly say in the last few years of my life as a creatively fit coach and as an artist, I have really discovered the power and impact that an art journal as well as collage techniques can have for you. I really think that collage is really one of the most accessible art forms out there, and it really can be helpful when you are working or dealing with a client or a group that is insecure around creativity, that needs maybe some further convincing that we all have a creative heart and we all have creativity within us. A lot of people have suffered trauma around creativity and art, and therefore completely subscribe to the idea that creativity, any artistic activity, is reserved for artists or for the right-brained amongst us. And this sort of exercise is a way to sort of begin to remove that evidence that they believe in that is true. We of course know that it is not right. So another thing that I mentioned about art journaling as a way to create for me was that it is really I think an art journal opens up that aspect of play, because you don't take a page in a book as serious as you would a canvas. So starting out maybe with a new client that is hesitant to begin to work on a canvas because of ideas or limiting beliefs might really be helpful to play with them in an art journal. For me here in South Africa, like I said before, art materials has become really expensive. So there is not an abundance of canvases lying around. And I also have limited time. So if I want to have a personal painting practice, I come to my art journal every day because it is maybe easier for me to complete an exercise like this in my art journal than working on a big canvas. And then when I have great ideas like this one coming together as an example in my art journal, then I can take this to a canvas and expand on it and elaborate on it and explore even further. So don't dismiss the power of having an art journal, and I'm going to jump right in to show you how you can do this exercise with one of your clients. Okay, so I'm going to move this aside. So like I mentioned in the live call on Zoom, we all use a variety of palettes. I think some of you might be using meat trays like I do, because they are such a great container to carry your paint with. But I want to encourage you to think about either using your palette like this. Your palettes are great places to dispense paint and to mix color on. And I want to encourage you not to throw these pages away, because all of this can be used as collage elements in your art journal. So I call this rub off or smear off pages. I also collect these packaging material from the boxes that come to my salon, and this is, you know, just recycled paper that they use to protect the, you know, the contents of the box. So I keep these sheets and sheets of paper because it's excellent paper to play on. Now this is an example of how I would, you know, smear off the excess paint that I have from my brush, and I will just clean my brush on this instead of rinsing it all out and allow it to dry, and eventually you will have a nice build-up of paint with interesting patterns and marks on it that can be used. So that is exactly where I went with this particular exercise. When you have created a smear of page like this, I need you to turn it around, and I want you to use objects from your studio that's round, or if you don't mind freehanding some organic round circles. I want you to draw the circles on the back of your smear of page or of your palette paper, because that sort of tricks the left brain into not wanting to understand what you are doing. It will all become clear to you guys as we go forward. So I want you to make a variety of circle shapes. So for your information, as we are dealing with a Hamsa, and it is all about protection and blessing, any circular pattern or shape is also considered a sacred circle or a sacred shape that brings in protection, unity, the feminine, and so forth. So that is another reason why I picked the circle and the round shape, and it doesn't matter if it's perfectly symmetrical or even organic. I do enjoy organic shapes a little bit more, but that is for you to decide what will suit your style. So when you have a variety of sizes ranging from fairly large, medium to smaller circles, I want you to take your paper and then I want you to cut these circles out. Now, one of well, a few of them actually, but one of our callers actually said she really enjoyed this cutting out of circles. It was quite therapeutic for her, and I think she used her child's hand drawing pages that lie around in the studio, and that is an excellent way to begin to create these circles. Once you've cut out all of your circles, you turn them around and look at that. It's gone from a smear of page like this to a beautiful individual abstract little work of art, and that is absolutely stunning. So you can see why I don't throw these things away. These are amazing tools that you can play with in your art journal or even on your canvas as a collage element. Now for my class, I was playing with these acrylic paints that I found at an art supply store. What I love about them is that they are all sort of more towards the pastel range, and I created this smear of page on one of my recycled papers. And what you're going to need to do, I just want to show you how that works, is I want you to make these circles, like I said, in a variety of sizes and then cut them out. So that is what I will do with this page. Right, moving swiftly along so that we don't waste too much time. Once you've cut out your shapes, I want you to arrange them into a variety of shapes so that you have a basic large, medium to smaller sort of pile of circles that you will use as collage elements on your paper, on your art journal, or on your canvas. So we'll give you a second to do that and to create your smear of pages and to do your circles and to cut them out. And when we come back, we're going to go to our canvas and utilize this. Right, so now we're going to come to our surface that we're going to work on. It can be a page in your art journal, it can be a canvas board, it can be a canvas, whatever you prefer. And like we always begin with a freedom layer, I want to approach this in the same way by allowing you or your client to write down a prayer of protection, a blessing, a mantra, fill it with symbols of protection and blessing and abundance, whatever resonates with you, in order to empower your Hamsa symbol. So I've got an acrylic marker here. I prefer not to use permanent markers because the ink tends to want to come through on acrylic paint. If you do want to use a marker, you'll just have to seal it with a layer of acrylic glaze medium before you paint on top of that. Otherwise, you might run into some problems. So I'm going to use this acrylic marker, which is a violet. And I'm using a violet because I'm also going to be painting a background in my violet. So my prayer and intention, as I start off here with my Om, is may all beings everywhere be happy, be healthy, be free from danger, live with ease, may all sentient beings everywhere be enlightened, to end all suffering. Om Shanti Om. And so it is. Right, so I will allow that to dry a little bit, and I'm just going to paint this now with a violet to just give myself a nice medium to dark background to play on, and we'll build it up in layers from there. So I'm going to pause my video and paint this canvas in my violet color, allow it to dry, and then we'll back to show you the next step. Right, so now that our foundational color is dry, we can begin to play with our collage elements. Now, I do like to start with a bit of a darker background because after some trial and error, I find that the circles stand out a little bit better on something deeper or darker. But you can play with it because we are going to be playing with positive and negative space in this exercise. So you or your client might not realize it, but you are already using principles of art to create this piece. So this will all add to that, can I say, confirmation at the end that creativity and art really is just process, and if you understand how to create something, really anyone can do it. And I really like to encourage my clients to love what they create because it is a unique voice in the world. It is a unique expression of the individual's hand, the marks that they make, the way that they approach the exercise. It is supposed to be you know, an individual that is expressing themselves in a creative manner. I think a lot of clients get stuck on, you know, what they think a good artist, you know, must look like or how they are able to work, and that prevents them from really getting into it and trying for themselves. So hopefully this will break the ice. Right, so the next step is then to use your circles that you've cut out, and we're going to use this board then as a bit of a collage substrate. So I want you to arrange your circles on this canvas in an interesting way that works for you. Try to use a variety of your shapes so that it's not too predictable. There's no right or wrong, so just go along and have fun. But do use a variety of your circles, so maybe just go through them and see which ones will really punch out a bit of contrast on your canvas, so to speak, that you are happy with. And go from big to small. And also, you don't have to be scared. If you feel like this will be good on top of another one, then add it on top of another one. So that to me just adds to the interest and the variety that is available in your sort of design. So I'm just going to go ahead and just place some of these circles, overlapping some of them, making it interesting, and just create a beautiful ensemble of your little circles. And then we're going to stick them all down. And I like to use my acrylic medium as my glue. I just really enjoy that because then painting over it becomes so much easier. So in whichever way you can use normal glue, you can use glue stick, whatever works for you, go for it. So I'm going to pause the video now, and then I'm going to fast forward, showing you how I basically glaze all of this down. Right, so now that my acrylic medium is dried, my collage elements is firmly stuck to my surface, I can continue to play with these circles. And normally I play with a little bit of my jelly roll pens. I raved about this in the Zoom call. It is from Sakura, Japan. They've got a huge variety of these jelly roll marker pens, and I absolutely love them. And I'm going to show you how I use this gold one particularly a bit later. But for now, I want to just add a little bit more texture and yumminess to this layer. So in today's class, I'm going to be playing with my little oil pastels, and I like to sort of just bring in a little bit more of a playful element, and I'm continuing with the theme of circles. So we're using the design principle of repetition, of rhythm, and of pattern in order to enhance our artwork and to make it more interesting. There's variety, there is movement, and we continue to play with our intention to make this colorful and to add blessings. And circles really represent that emanation of unity, and I really love using it in my work. So I'm just going to add a few more moments on here just to unify some of the layers that I have on my page. I think it needs a little bit of yummy orange as well, if I can get hold of it. There we go. And variety in the sense of bigger or smaller kind of elements is always one way to bring these things together. And let me see, green. Maybe I'll just add a few smaller dots of green. It's another variety, right, of my circle shape. So whatever you feel will beautify and enhance what you have on this page. Right, I think that is enough. Okay, so we're entering the next phase, and we talked about this in the call as well, where we choose which hand to use. Now I know that there is a lot of generic Hamsa symbols out there that starts to look very much like, you know, these two thumbs. It looks like two thumbs to me, and then the three fingers very closely together. So that is a beautiful, pleasing shape. But we're going to be using our own hands to trace a shape, and this is where it becomes very personal. I like to use my Hamsa shape like this and then just trace my hand, so that is really powerful. We did discuss something interesting that came up. A question was asked in the Zoom call, and it was all about which hand should you use, left or right. So I refer to my information or knowledge that I have about wearing your bracelets. And if you have crystal bracelets or beads that you wear, on which hand do you place them? Well, according to the experts, you wear it on your left hand in order to receive the energy, and you wear it on your right hand in order to give that energy. So maybe if you're going to be making this talisman for yourself, maybe use your left hand to indicate you receiving these blessings and protection. And if you're going to give it as a gift, maybe use your right hand to extend or radiate this intention and blessing out to the person you are intending to give it to. So that should be some guidance for you that might help you to decide which hand to use. Okay, so I'm going to be using something to make a mark. Let me just see if this will show, sort of, yeah. I normally use a chalk. Let me get my piece of chalk, just ordinary blackboard chalk, but I find it's a bit thick to get between my fingers in this case. So if you have something thinner like a China marker or whiteboard chalk in a pencil kind of form, or even a permanent marker for that matter. So I use the permanent marker in the show, so I'm going to go ahead. Wait, let me try my black jelly roll and see if it will show. So the next step in this artwork is to place your hand nicely in the middle of your board. If it helps you to stand up to make sure that you're getting a nice centered shape here, then do so. And I'm going to close my eyes and trust after I've just professed how amazing these jelly roll pens are. Hopefully it won't let me down now. There you go. So we just want a rough outline of your hand. There is something magical that happens when you use your own hand or your own body parts in your art. Okay, that's not happening for me. So I'm going to switch to something else. What have I got here? Charcoal. Let's see if that works a little bit better. So whatever you have at hand that will help you to trace your hand. Now there's something magical that happens when you use your own hand. It really becomes very personal. There we have it. I'm still trying to get a nice outline here. Forgive me. There we go. It's up there. So once you have a nice outline, I think I'm going to line it with my black liner, or my Sharpie, just for clarity's sake. So that when we start painting, we are not limited. We can see what we are doing. Ideally, what I should have done is I should have sealed this layer on my canvas because of the oil pastel that I decided to play with. And I'm just going to come around the bottom here. I'm going to exclude my arm, but that's a choice for you as well. You can include your wrist into the drawing if you feel that it works for you. There we go. I can see my outline. So that's a lot of fun. Right. So when you have the outline positioned on your canvas, you can choose then a color that is part of your color scheme in order to do some negative painting around your hand, really quieting the outside space. And I personally liked to use a bit of a lighter color, so you might have to add a little bit of titanium white in order to give you some coverage and opacity. So I will do that next, and then when I'm done with that, I will continue sharing with you guys around the Hamsa. Right, so this is all dried, and what I've done is I've sealed everything with a layer of my acrylic glaze medium. I really like to use this method in all of my artwork, seeing that I like to work as a multimedia artist, and collage and you know, using a variety of art materials is really something that I enjoy. So in order to sort of make it possible for you to work with one type of medium on top of another, using your acrylic glaze medium is really going to change your life. It gives a little bit more volume to your paint, and it also sort of binds everything together, and also the colors come forward a lot better, so it's a lot more vibrant and beautiful. So that's just a pro tip that I can give you. Right, so when you've got your Hamsa at this stage, really the end of this session is all about embellishing and making it more beautiful. So I'm going to use my acrylic marker to just outline my Hamsa, and I really like to leave a little bit of space around each finger in order to just give more of that radiant kind of vibe to the work. So as you can see, it's actually quite very playful. And I hope that you can see by now how useful this exercise can be for yourself or for a client. That's really beautiful. So you can see how that gives a nice beautiful glow to the hand. And then the final little element I like to add is to play with my metallic gold jelly roll pen. Like I've said so many times, I'm really impressed with them and I really love them. And I actually have them in a number of colors, and I really invested in the white ones because if I want a fine white line on my painting that I want to use as a pen, I don't want to struggle to make a mark. So now we're basically just going to give these radiant sort of lines. Now I'm thinking either to use the center as my point of radiance, where we have a bit of a radial kind of thing. So this is all experimental, but I also don't want to waste your time. I want to show you, I think, just my end product so that you can see sort of where I'm headed with this exercise. Now this is an actual stretched canvas that I did where I completed this exercise, and I used my jelly roll pen in order to create even more of a radial kind of vibe around the hand, and then obviously the lines emanating from the center of my hand that communicates that this blessing is radiating out of my Hamsa hand, and in that way it will conclude this exercise. So I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this process and this idea of going to your art journal or creating your own Hamsa with your own intention and your own creative process that is either beautiful as a work of art that you can sell, or even just hang in your studio as a blessing or give to someone as a gift. So thank you so much, you guys, for spending some time with me. I will take a photograph of this when I'm done with all the little gold lines as well and share it with you in the group. So I'm interested to see what you will do with your Hamsa. So please take a photograph and share it with us and tag me. in that post so that I don't miss it. Thank you guys for spending the time with my open studio and for following along, and I really think you guys are doing a great job, so let's keep going. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll speak to you guys again real soon. Bye bye for now. And there you have the final product, and I'm just taking this video on an angle so that you can see the gold and how that really just enhances what we created on our Hamsa. And I'm looking forward to see your Hamsa. Thank you for sharing. Bye bye.